It's Broadleaf Bullies talking shit. 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 It's Broadleaf Bullies.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So
It has gotten quite cold up here.
It looks it. I was going to say, you guys look bundled up.
Yeah, it's already in the low 40s. It will drop. Sorry.
I can't help it.
I know. It's a very smoky cigar. It will probably drop into the low 30s, possibly upper 20s tonight.
Ooh. Do you guys have plants? Do you have to cover them up?
No, the outside ones, there's some, because we had a couple days where it actually popped into the 70s and 80s. So I still have a couple like flowering plants that are hanging on by a thread. But no, it's pretty much that season's done.
Yeah.
Do you have
Whatever dies.
Do you have to cover the kudzu? Make sure it survives.
Yeah.
God,
So-
does Frost even kill it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the only
it's
thing that
already
kills it.
starting. You were starting to see the
Oh,
changes with the kudzu monster behind us.
It does
and
not
driving
kill
down
the
road.
kudzu. It
Closer.
just puts it to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puts the
Dormant.
kudzu to
Yeah.
sleep.
So,
It's
so you
like
guys,
from Wizard of Oz, like with all the little poppies. And
Exactly. Exactly.
everything goes to sleep, and then when it snows, it wakes them up.
so you guys don't have earphones in. So you have a speaker. You
Yeah.
just playing it on
Yeah.
your speaker. Okay.
Yep.
Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
sound
here
good.
it's fine. Yeah,
Until you
Oh,
start
wow.
hitting the table like
I
you
was
just
just
did 10
always,
times in a row.
I was always concerned that the speaker with the microphone, if you would get feedback, but if you're not getting feedback, then that seems fine.
Yeah. Even when we invite a guest, usually once you get a third, block of, that's when it starts going round and around. If it will, as long as two people are wearing headphones, you're good. If two
Right.
people aren't and then one is, that becomes a nightmare.
Yeah, I always for the show, I always wear headphones because it's just easier,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Jen hearing the mic, the wires across, and then she's, I just don't want to.
Well,
Trying to be nice.
I know. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, about 25 of I will need to step out to go pick up young Joe. I'm
Is he
he's
working?
still yeah. He's food running.
He's working all right.
So, but I'm sure by the time we get back, you'll still be going. So
You never know.
we'll see.
I can carry it.
Yeah. Does it does he get bring home free food at night? Like all the extras?
No, well, he gets free chips and like salsa. We went there for a late dinner last night. I have to say their food is really good. Probably the best meal we've had takeout wise. Our lunch, very disappointing. The one that I
Even
sent
takeout?
you, well, not take it, like just in general, their food's good.
Well,
But we went
takeout,
for a
though.
late dinner. But we went for lunch yesterday. Very disappointing. Very expensive.
That was your
And
call.
I know it was my call because when we were there initially, it was excellent. We know the service is going to be slow, but the quality and the food was cold and it was quite pricey.
Yeah, we had a crap there's a new place. I'm sure you guys have it too,
Oh.
to where it's like one restaurant to where like it'll be like good food. You don't know why they go out of business, but like every year and a half there's a new restaurant and like
In that
it
same
just
location?
rolls
Yeah.
over and
Yeah.
over again. So we have one of those, and they've had some great places in there,
Yeah.
but it's kind of out of the way. So
It's not really out of the way.
It's a little out
the
of the
only
way.
thing that's over there next to like
Yeah.
like exterminator place.
yeah, so it's a Mexican barbecue place.
No, it said Mexican American.
Yeah.
American and Mexican food. That's
would-
what it says
it-
on its thing. It doesn't have a name. It just says Mexican American food. That's what it says.
So is it burgers and tacos or is
Yeah,
it?
well, it's crap and more crap is what it is.
So when we walked up there was a handmade menu sign where everything was crammed, and there was probably about I would say a good 20 to 25 items on this crammed, handwritten, like makeshift chalkboard sign. So you're kind of looking. So some of the food, like tacos, was here, and then burgers, and then down here was some taco stuff. It was all over the place. Then you got
yelled at.
And then I asked if they had guacamole, and the lady's like, "Well,
how dare you?"
And she goes, "If it's not on the menu," and I was like,
there are certain things that do not have to be on a menu at a Mexican place: guacamole, chips, and salsa. I just assumed you have those.
Or queso as well.
Why take the time to write it?
Yeah.
We assume it's on the menu.
Yeah, and nobody there seemed to know what they were doing. So we waited, about 40 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
It had to have been 40, 45 minutes for takeout. Okay.
Wow.
Go ahead. You can explain what it looked like.
Hot garbage.
It looked like not cooked properly. They were falling apart.
It was trash panda food right there.
It was. Then we had gotten chips and salt or nachos. It was like, I don't know, like a week old stale chips. You couldn't even bite them.
And then
it's horrible.
Guacamole?
No, because apparently they don't have
yeah.
it. But the lady was such a bitch. The lady was such a bitch, and and it wasn't the girl taking our order. It was like a lady behind her.
She was the owner. She wasn't dressed like anybody else.
She was horrible, and I wanted to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." On your fucking unlegible fucking menu, and on your menu at the very bottom, what did it say? Taco salad. When it was all burgers, taco salad.
Yeah, it was. It was a hot mess. I mean, and we, I don't know,
and we haven't really been eating out at all. So we were like, oh, let's try this place. It was bad. It was bad.
The worst.
Yeah, and we were just out a lot yesterday, so our only option was to grab food while we were out.
Yeah, and we stopped at this place before, and we just got appetizers, and it's a great. I go back because it's a great beer place.
True, I would say for drinks.
It has, it's called the Habitat. So it's got a great beers on selection. You do the whole flight thing. But we went in, and it was the day of seeing dogs in establishments. That literally everywhere we went, there was a dog.
Yeah,
and everywhere. I had it up to here with just he likes to go shopping. No, he doesn't.
Because he told you that.
He's dressed in a Clemson shirt. Oh, he likes going. No, he doesn't. He wants to stay at home and lick his balls.
Well, here's
or to be politically correct, her vagina.
Yeah. Here's the main thing we get from people like that. They're like, oh, they get nervous if I leave them home, but you just left them in your car.
Yeah.
Why you shop. Like it doesn't. People who bring their animals,
they bring them in shopping.
Down, but the ones who don't, but just leave them in their car, shit pisses me off, though. It's like, why did you bring your dog out for? For what?
Now, where even this society, and I'm not going to go through spiraling, but even their dogs are like, kids, I don't want to leave them at home because they get stressed and anxious. Yeah. I'm like, it's a fucking dog.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Train your dog better. Put it in a cage.
Exactly. It's a dog.
Dog. It's because you have to have a shit dog. Yeah. A dog that was inbred for the last 50 years, and you have to have a tiny little Shih Tzu that was, it's an abomination of an animal.
Whatever, it's not
exactly
people's breeds, whatever they like. Who cares? But I feel like if you have to bring your dog everywhere, and it's not a service dog, if it's not servicing you in for medical reasons, or like people who have like a handicap of some sort, then leave your dog at home.
And stupidity is not a handicap, Karen.
No, I agree. And it was like the running place. There's my dog. Then we go to the restaurant. There's my dog. And then we go to
a car
dealership. And it's fucking dog. Actually, I was glad he brought it because it was barking the whole fucking time.
People were looking at
the car, and the dog just barked the whole time.
Is just barking its head off, almost looking like it's about to jump out the window of the vehicle that it's in.
So the car dealership, dog, and then we go for dinner, fucking dog.
And there are places out there that they promote that they're dog friendly.
Well, yeah, some of them are.
Like that they want you to bring your
There's
dog.
A bar in Greenville called the Unleash Bar because it's a bar where you go to and they want you to bring your dog. It's completely outdoors. That's appropriate.
Yes.
There was a,
Others are not.
Right.
I booked our hotel for the Great Smoke in February, and one thing they offered at the hotel, they have a service where you can leave your dog for the day, and like they'll watch it like a little
Baby
kennel. Or,
Oh, so
like,
are we bringing Stella and Sky with us? Why not?
It was $30 per day per dog.
But I don't that makes sense, especially if you're traveling and you may not have a kennel or a family to help you watch your dog. I get that. You're going away for a couple days or a weekend. But because you're going to go to the fucking bar to watch Clemson play fucking UConn, it doesn't mean that fucking scrappy dude gets to go along with you and hang out and sit there and get his little fucking Clemson shirt and freaking sit there and bark and annoy the rest of us. First of all, I'm sorry.
I'll tell you right now, if it's a true service dog, they're not barking at people in a store and stuff. But that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point is when these people come shopping and they have literally the dog has its own blanket and stuff and they put it in the car and it's like that's not a service dog.
And you're not allowed to ask.
The dog is,
and you're not allowed to ask.
It's just
and
then they pee and they poop and stuff and it's like what? Like,
are you dog shitting me? No, I'm stupid shaming you fucking jackass.
So, well,
fucking Paris Hilton.
Before we continue on, I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jess.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr.
And I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
And we are
the Broadleaf Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
All right.
Even at the Home Depot, I don't accept.
I wouldn't bring Cooper to Home Depot. Like, what is your point of bringing your dog into a home improvement place?
Anywhere.
Get their opinion on what fucking floor joist you use.
Yeah. Hey, Coop, which one of these flowers you'd like to tear up later on?
Should I bring him into a furniture store and be like, Cooper, climb up on all the sofas
and
show me which one you'd like?
You should, and then cause a scene when they don't let you.
That would be funny.
No,
I won't even get into this.
I'm too chicken shit.
I won't get if I get too deep into the whole service dog thing.
Can.
Yeah, no.
You know people that can actually you can buy like fake.
See, I just said I wouldn't get into it, but you're gonna
it's
drive me down that.
I do.
But you can buy fake.
You
can buy fake anything.
Yeah, so they pretend that they have a service dog.
Yeah.
I got friends that do that. Have done that. They say it on Facebook. I bought my little service dog thing.
Some
and I want to be
people
like,
do it too, so they can bring them on planes. Also, there are people who like bring their pets to like amusement parks.
Yeah. And they get
parks. Are
fake?
they going on rides with them?
No,
but they're able to bring them with them.
Now, service dog fucking tags, which is no different, in my opinion, than buying a fake fucking handicap fucking thing and parking in a handicap spot.
Now, luckily, like I said, the airlines are cracking down on that shit.
They are. And, but my friend Dustin, on the side, he used to do Uber for a really long time, especially in Colorado to the ski resorts. He would make really good money on the side. One person, all he asked was, hey, can you make sure that your dog, stays on your lap? Oh, you're shaming me? Like, he's like, well, like I'm just asking you because I don't see that it's a service dog. It doesn't have a thing on. He goes, how dare you? You're saying that my dog's not a service dog? Like, started going off, reported him. He lost his job at Uber because somebody complained that he denied them a ride for their emotional support animal service dog.
I wonder if you can sue them.
How is that the same thing?
Like, take him to civil court for loss of wages.
Civil court? You can take him to gold court if you'd like.
Civil court. Hey, at least I'm not the only one who messed up saying something this time.
I'm so congested. The freaking weather is like killing my allergies.
It's like copper cord. It's like copper cord doesn't really get.
But like they said, oh, it's my emotional support animal. Well, that's different than a service dog. But he didn't tell the guy he couldn't get. He normally would have like been like no pets, but he was like, I'm not going to tell this guy no pets. He just wanted him to hold on to it. He didn't want it running around in the vehicle.
Well, yeah, because first of all,
aren't they supposed to be buckled in?
I don't fucking know.
I think in some states
depends on
it's
the
a
state.
law.
Yeah.
But the bottom
Yeah.
line is that if you have a service dog, you should have papers.
True.
You should have documentation that the dog is a service dog.
Right.
And then I get it. Outside of that, it's not a service dog. If you maybe have documentation or prescription that it's your emotional support animal, fine. But you're
my
still
support animal.
But you're still responsible for the animal. So asking someone to keep their dog on your lap instead of fucking going around a turn and fucking good old Fido, the service freaking emotional dependent dog, smashes his head into the freaking side of the car.
Mind you, Uber drivers, that's their personal vehicle.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Uber, it's not like a rental vehicle, it's not like a company, it's the people's own personal vehicles.
You know, and
I feel like how does Uber, so anytime Uber gets a complaint, people get fired. Like they literally get fired. Like
That's
it's
horrible.
One
Never take an
complaint
Uber
about
again.
you.
I'd last a week as an Uber driver.
You know, and what's sad is we've gotten to this point because for what 20 years it wasn't an issue. When you saw a German Shepherd or whatever big dog out, they always had the vest on. And it was you just knew it was a
and
service
people
dog.
told you not to touch their dog.
You would see that, and you would see that like
don't touch them.
Yeah, you would see that like
dog,
once or twice a week, and that's it. But now it's like you guys, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
and
it's everywhere, and people are like, "Oh, sure, pet my dog," or "You can pet my dog." A real service animal, you cannot touch them.
Yeah, we saw those up at. There's a couple people up at Universal when we were there, and I know they bring them to theme parks to get them used to crowds. But then they wear the vest that says, "I am a service dog. Please don't touch me.
Right.
Please don't pet me."
And the people also had official shirts on. Dog, we're training the dog. Please give us space. And like that's legit.
Dogs. I lived next to people when I was in Harrisburg who trained service dogs.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I think didn't Michelle's daughter, Brittany? I think my dad, my stepsister's daughter. She was raised a service dog, but. Yeah, I lived when I had an apartment, a townhouse in Harrisburg. The people next to us, there's a couple of dogs that they had go through because they train them and they raise them. Then after they get to a point, then obviously they're gone.
That's what the Southeast Guide dogs. My dog Daphne, she's with a family, and that's what they do. They'll train Daphne, and then when she's ready,
what happens to the dogs that don't pass training?
They
glue.
Jeff Borshwitz was just talking about this.
They go to Korea.
The one that, or actually no, it wasn't. We were up at Corona. Remember, Jimmy, the family, they tested, the dog didn't pass. The family just kept the dog. It's like they're just it's our,
Yeah, but that can't be the case every time.
Oh no, it can't be the case every time.
No, I mean I'm sure they
because there's got to be quite a few dogs that just don't make it.
Oh yeah.
But they fight. They got to find homes for them because they may not make it as a service dog, but they're obviously well trained.
And
there's been a lot of money put into their training, so they definitely got to sell those animals.
That is true.
Before we continue, what are you smoking this evening, Kevin, Jess?
What are you smoking? I don't see
I'm smoking the Freestyle Live cigar, the last one. I had 3. I smoked one on the Freestyle Live. Kevin took one of mine because he smoked all of his.
So you're smoking the new 20-acre farm by Drew Estate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just called it the Freestyle Live because I didn't remember all of that.
It now has a name, and I am smoking the Room 101 Series SA.
Are you drinking anything? Are you pairing it with anything?
Oh, I'm drinking a lime Rita.
Lime Rita.
Wow, that does not sound good.
It's sparkling margarita. It's I don't
Is
know
it
if
in
it has
box
beer
or
in
is
it.
that a can?
It's in a can.
It's a 8% alcohol, so it's a beer. It's a like a sparkling.
Like a wine cooler.
No, because it's got 8%. So it's
all I know is anytime I drink these, I feel pretty good. So, but it tastes like a margarita.
Does it taste like a margarita?
Interesting. Yeah. They have other flavors too.
Yeah, they have strawberry. I want to say that I think I've seen peach and mango. But the lime Rita, it tastes just like a margarita.
Yeah, all your simple basic white girl flavors in the sparkling.
I don't know where you are on this thing about being basic.
I've heard the word basic white girl so much lately coming from Joseph.
Like,
Kerr, what
I'm so
are you
over
smoking
it.
this night?
You talk
What do you-
about
and-
like,
and-
a, like
and-
no,
and what are
it's
you pairing
annoying.
up?
Kerr,
You're,
what are you smoking tonight?
Yeah, Carrie, are you enjoying a?
Nice.
I am smoking a cigar. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a new release from Cigar Pop and Espinosa called Back in Black. And I hit the sack.
Yeah.
And it's been so long that I'm really glad to be back.
So is that your first one, or did you smoke one yesterday?
No, you saw that he smoked
I
three
smoked
yesterday.
3 already.
Oh, you smoked 3. I saw that you had.
You smoked 3 already?
Yeah.
Good God.
We're never smoking ours. Kevin probably hid
No,
the
no,
box
no,
for
no,
me.
wait, yeah, we're-
he,
I
he
smoked-
buried them in the backyard.
I smoked one when I first got
Probably.
it, and then I smoked one this morning.
this
wasn't
morning
it? This
after
morning.
breakfast. I made him breakfast.
And I did a little. I like mixing and matching whenever I smoke different cigars, and I do it with my own too. Is I'll dry box it for a while. I actually, Kev, when you and I talked about that before, that is like a must now for me.
When I know what I want to smoke, especially like a 24-hour to dry box a cigar, God, it just I don't know what happens. I don't.
You know what I do is I actually
what dry boxing is.
Well, what I do now too is I'm
what's
gonna get my cedar drawer, but I actually have a refrigerator humidor, and I'll dry box it in there with no humidity, so it cools. And actually, if you give it extra time, it will. If there's any wet tobacco in there, it'll definitely dry it out. It's a good way of aging it. And dry boxing is either letting it sit out and acclimate to obviously to whatever environment you're in, but it depends on the humidor. Some humidors, may be over humidified, blah, 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 however you want to put it. But it's just letting it sit and rest for a period of time, just like you would wine when you uncork it. And I have found that the cigar smokes better, and it tastes, and I just feel like the whole smoking experience is so much better. And I got Des doing that now.
I have a question though. What happens if it dries it out too much though?
I mean, you'd have to leave it out for a week.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah, like because the room here, our office is it's always 75 degrees, between 40 and 50% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take it out of the cellophane sometimes, leave it for 24 hours, come back, and it is just.
Yeah, I always take it out of cellophane. That's the only way it's really going to truly breathe. It just, and whether it's even on even a little bit more of a humid day, I'll do it as well, just so it's. I've gotten to the point where if I pull a cigar out and if it's a drier cigar and I start smoking it and it's humid out, it gets soggy really quick, and then it just dies off where, I'd rather deal with what I'm dealing with from the get-go. And then at that point, you're dealing with partially dry tobacco with partially humidified tobacco. So then you get all sorts of wonky burns. It just really makes the whole smoking experience so much better. But fantastic cigar, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. I got a lot of messages today. People were quite surprised at how strong it is.
The last third, it was getting a little strong. And I was surprised that the cold draw and the first third was very chocolatey.
Yeah.
Very chocolatey, a little bit of spice. The second third picks up on the spice, but that first third is very chocolatey. A little bit of spice, a little bit of that, good tobacco flavor, but really chocolatey. And I'm pairing it with Legend.
What is that? Is that a whiskey, a rum?
I'm a legend, yo.
Is it a bourbon?
It is a bourbon, but the way that they do this whole bourbon thing is here's pretty interesting, is that it balances with the artistry of Japanese blending. It's Kentucky bourbon. They use a little bit of Japanese blending style, and then it is finished in a wine and sherry casks. So it has a good bourbon flavor to it, but the finish is just a little sweet, not too sugary, but a little sweet and creamy like a sherry.
Oh, right on.
Interesting.
It's pairing very nicely with the cigar.
Yeah, when talking with Eric and I told him, I said I love chocolate. I love getting the chocolate notes in the cigars. I definitely need a chocolatey cigar. And then I told him, I said I wanted a stronger cigar because I think that was going to surprise people. Because I'm not a super strong cigar, but
we know you're not a super strong cigar.
Cigar person, but I wanted it smooth. I didn't want heavy nicotine. So
I don't think it's super strong to the point where it would be too much for you anyway. I feel like it's still in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
The final third really picks up the strength a little bit. I mean, you could definitely tell it's a little bit stronger towards the left.
Did you retro?
I retroed, yeah. And you really do. That's really where you do get even more of the peppery, and I think a little bit more for me, earthier tones, little woody flavor, but really that front load chocolate. And what I noticed too is after that first third, when I get into the second third, there's very few cigars I smoked like this, and one of them was Saka's. What fucking cigar? Which one was it? The Sobre Mesa.
Yeah.
It has a very dry finish to it, like a cleansing the palate finish, like after you drink like a white dry wine.
Mm-hmm.
So some cigars, when you smoke them, it really creates a lot of saliva in your mouth. Or it has a really nasty tobacco flavor to it. It's like once you hit that second third, and when you're smoking it, and if you kind of let it sit for a little bit, you really do have a little bit of a drier finish and a cleansing finish of your palate that really doesn't have any lingering nasty effects.
All right.
That is my professional cigar. And the last third tastes like Meemaw's apple pie. No. What?
So I'm glad I've been getting a ton of good compliments on it. I'm stoked it's finally off the ground, and I would be honored if Espinosa picked it up, for a full run. I think that would be super awesome. The only change I would make would be to the box. Like I said, I would remove the cigar prop from the front of the box.
I'd
want it on the inside because it's on the inside as well. So
on the outside.
So everybody that bought that first 200, they always know they got the first 200. So I would want it just kept on the inside, just kept the front matte and shiny. And then just
you'll know that that's not the first.
That'll be So people that have
change for the next.
Great. So I got a first series box. If I'd have known that, I wouldn't have smoked any of the cigars.
Yeah, right.
Now you tell me.
Well, now you just do what everybody else will do. They'll just buy the second run, put them in the first run box, and then be like, I have the first run full.
Yeah.
So I don't.
What you need to do though, what I would do is, because I noticed you didn't have this one here, is have a seal made, a cigar props label made that seals it.
Good.
Oh,
okay. Cut it. Just a cigar prop only, because mostly you'll get either like we have a factory seal. Chris asked me if I wanted to do a personalized Stogie Road seal, and I'm like, no, I like the seal that you have. But for that back in black, if you're gonna remove your logo from the front and what Espinosa wants to do with his, I would have a cigar prop seal.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like that would ruin the box.
No. If you had a black,
I didn't ask you, Jess.
to have a black on black seal, like a really nice, because Chris has a beautiful seal on his box. So if you took a beautiful seal like that,
I get that,
and did it black on black, I think that would actually add to the box.
Yeah, if you did like a cigar prop one, I just think it would look really cool.
Yeah.
My opinion,
there's a
Jess.
seal on
I'm
there.
not gonna
There's a
seal
seal
shame
on there
you,
anyway. So
no, there's not.
Oh, there isn't.
No.
Oh, I didn't see you open it.
No, just a cellophane, and then usually you have either an importer seal or whatever seal you want.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would just do. If you're gonna remove it from the front, I would add a cigar prop seal.
Cool. Yeah, we'll find out. Who knows?
Well, alrighty then. Well, congratulations. Very good.
Thank you very much. So
I smoked a couple of barber poles in my day, so I got this is a good one.
On to the next project. So
building on Trash Panda.
No, our
Our next project.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I know that.
It's just a
but-
waiting game right now.
Yeah.
We have some stuff in the works for Trash Panda, but
I think-
it'll probably be March,
Yeah, it's gonna
February
be a little while.
before we have like an official like Trash Panda cigar. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
hopefully have some other cigars
Yeah.
Right.
towards the first of the year, but yeah, on that brand, we're in no hurry. We're just going to
No.
take. I don't want to rush it. And,
I mean, personally, I was
Yeah.
hoping that like we wouldn't be doing really much with Trash Panda until the new lounge was done. But Kevin just
well, that's a year from now.
yeah, but I mean, we could have just kind of really like got stuff in a row. But nope, Kevin in his finest
All
just
in.
jumps right in, doesn't care. I'm not prepared, but I'm just gonna do it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's go with it.
Just
So
go.
you
with
gotta
the
do
flow.
Well, it's marketing though. Getting it out there.
sometimes you just got to move with it, and even
Yeah,
if it's
you
a
don't live
year,
with him, and he's been doing this to me for a very long time. And
well,
you know
you
who
can be
ends up
used to it
having,
then,
and
Jess.
then you know who ends up having to do a lot of like stuff like that's brand like just annoying because he's like, oh well, it has to get done. Well,
Like
you can-
what?
like when we do like for the cigar prop stuff, like all of the different things that we did with cigar prop, I do not want to do with Trash Panda. Do you agree?
No,
You don't agree?
it
Like
was
what,
never.
though?
It's never that
everything.
much work.
You forget how much work it was in the beginning.
Well, at the beginning, but then it got easier. We
No,
streamlined
it's-
it.
Well, yeah. Well, finally.
Yes, and that's what we'll do here.
You
Like any
take all those
business.
lessons learned and you apply it to Trash Panda, which means
Yes.
it'll be a better oiled machine.
I've already I've
No.
already learned that. I've already learned that on the website thing. Just how to streamline it, how to make it better, more uniform.
I should literally just get a body cam and just follow Kevin around so
You
everyone
I would
Could
pay to
s-
watch that.
could
Yeah.
see what my
I would
life
pay to watch that.
is
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Like just having a conversation with him. I think it was yesterday. We were talking about stuff we need to get done this week, and he's like literally trying to micromanage the conversation, and his hamster wheel is like verbal, like he's telling me his every
And-
moment. No, and it's for himself. I get that, but we're in the middle of like a conversation, and he's like talking about it, every single little detail that had
Well-
nothing to do with me.
Well, what she
But
that,
maybe
that,
it adds to what he's getting to. It's like
well,
a
no,
back-
no, for me,
No.
Because I try and do
No.
that with you, and you do the same
No.
thing. You blank out.
for me, it solidifies it. For me, it solidifies it. So I'm like, okay, so here's my
Why you're
schedule. Here's my schedule for the week. I have it written down on the whiteboard in my head, but then as I'm talking, I'm looking at it and I'm stating each thing, each step, each day. And as long as I verbalize it, it like sets it in stone, and then I'm not
Right.
going to forget it.
In the middle of like a conversation that had nothing to do with all that other bullet point
But
shit
if
you got going on.
if I
in your
didn't say it,
brain.
I was going to forget it.
Well, I'll say
It
Jen.
kills me.
I'll say Jen. We got an order that needs to be mailed out. What is it? It's this, and then I'll start verbalizing a bunch of other stuff, and then at the end of it, she'll be like, "Okay, what do you need to be mailed out again?" Because I like Kevin, it's like I got to get it out sometimes because it makes better sense. Or if I'm saying it, I could actually kind of I could do project management as I'm saying it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
But I'm already
Eliminate it.
focusing just on the fact that I need to mail an
Right.
order.
Right, I know, and I
just
realized
need to know that's my focus.
it's like
is
fucking
the
awakenings.
order.
I could throw a tennis ball at her; it would just go right by her when I'm explaining it to her. But she's focusing on the order
Right.
that I've given her.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I'm focusing on like getting my mind into where I need it to be. And he's throwing all this random bullshit my way that he, at the end of the day, doesn't involve me, nor does he want it to involve me. But now I know it. And now it's in my brain. And now I'm like, I don't know what the hell you want me to do. Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I feel like I have to do all of that shit. Fuck you, Kevin. Like, that's how I
But
feel.
does he ask me? Does he give you action
half
items?
half
Does he
the
provide
time-
you with action items when he's explaining to you?
I don't know what you mean by action items.
What he's explaining to you, is he telling you what you need to do, or is he just explaining to you the idea? and the concept?
Sometimes it's like that, but a lot of times it's just all of a sudden it feels like the conversation shifted, and all I'm seeing is this hamster wheel going, and it's like, well, wait, we didn't even finish finalizing what our actual plan is together. Like, you're now being selfish and only talking about what you need to be doing, but I thought we were talking about what we need to be doing.
We get back. We
I don't want to stand there for 45 minutes while
Circle
you
back around.
We
Why you
always
come
circle back.
around.
Unlike Jen Psaki, we always circle back.
Yeah, it's just,
She never circles back.
you know, and it's fine, but there's sometimes when you're so scatterbrained, it's hard. It is hard.
I'm never scatterbrained. I can tell you that right
Well,
now.
I am.
I don't know
No.
what do you mean you're not
I
scatterbrained?
am.
Okay, so
You're gonna
so-
tell me you've never had moments.
No-
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean Jessica thinks if you plan more than 7 things out, that's scatterbrained, and I'm like, that's just being
You're being such an idiot.
just.
Like seriously, Kevin, I'm sorry that we can't all live up to who you are as a human being.
I'm
We
sorry
all should
too.
do better.
I apologize too.
Can't all be
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Can't all be Kevin.
So-
Kevin is
But
the
it's-
greatest
I-
human being on the planet, and we should all strive to be him.
But I do empathize with him, especially when you're trying to verbalize and you have the person in front of you that you trust and is part of it. And sometimes, like with Jen, I may not need her feedback or input, or I may not need her to do something, but I need to verbalize it to her because I need to kind of process it. And as I'm verbalizing it, it's not only solidifying what needs to be done, but then I can also, like I said, do project management live and then go, you know what, that didn't sound right. Or
Yeah.
if I do want feedback, I'll be like, how does that sound? And then it also gives me a sounding board.
Yeah,
I think
guess
that
so.
I think that's important, especially when you don't have a sounding board. It's not like we have a team of guys sitting in
Yeah.
a lounge smoking like.
But I
you
don't
know,
even know why you guys bother. You don't really want to hear what Jen and I have to say anyway. So why do you
We
care?
like to make you feel important.
Oh, okay.
Oh, heaven forbid.
We're part of the
We-
team.
We,
Yeah.
we want
Yes.
to make you
Oh,
feel
yes.
wanted.
That's
Okay,
exactly
no,
that's
no,
exactly what we
Karen,
want.
Karen and I exactly see where you're coming from now.
I will tell you why. It's because we need material for the show.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Got it.
It's material for the show. No, it's hey, listen, I see exactly where Kevin's coming from, and with Trash Panda wanting to do it next year and starting it now, even now, if it starts off at on the in the back burner on just boiling or medium or low,
Yeah.
it's at least building it up. So when you do want to do it full time, it's better to
You
get
need
it out
the name
there and just get things
Okay,
going
here,
and build it.
I don't disagree with
And
that.
build the name
I-
recognition and get people to familiarize
Yeah.
with it. And even like we're doing now, some of the logos that have been doing
Yeah.
now with that stuff, all that's important because so many people will forget. Now, actually, it's kind of comical because I did an event the other night and it was, I talked to folks about starting a cigar business, and a lot of people were asking me this question. I'm like, I was lucky because I did, I traveled and did my cigar show, and I did cigar shop reviews. So I got to meet people in cigar shops, which allowed me to open door to bring my cigars into those shops. But it allowed me to really do a lot of, kind of all this research, if you will, in humidors. And then when I came out with a cigar, I had already an established name. So you already have an established name. So it doesn't matter if it's Kevin and Jess and even Cigar Prop. As you start to layer in different businesses with that, you have that established name, but it's always good, even if it's something that is a slow burn. It definitely pays off for when you really want to do a full-fledged launch.
Yeah. So my biggest like fear, I guess, was because I know we have some projects coming out, and I knew this one was going to be the first one, and my biggest fear was like this one was going to explode. It was going to be huge. And then what happens after that? What happens if I have these companies reach out to me, say Drew Estate, hey, we'd love to make you a cigar. And then it's like, crap, I don't have a way of selling it. I don't have a website. I don't have a license. I don't have a trademark. I have nothing. So then I'm starting over from then. So at least getting it out there, getting my license, getting the credit card, getting insurance, and getting the name and logos, even if nothing happens for 6 more months, at least that's done. It's
Preparedness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
would
agree.
say
I'm a big
preparedness.
preparedness.
So yeah,
And
so
also
that
you're
was my
getting it
biggest
out there. It's
fear.
relevant.
Yeah. So
Well, we got our one. I mean, it was just a byproduct of it, but we established the VSR Cigar Fam webpage, did everything and got that all up and running. So when we did have our brand, we were able to have a platform to launch it from.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even now, with us working on the Stogie Road Cigars website, we're working on launching a platform where cigar shops can actually have access on an account and order through there.
Yeah.
And when they're doing their inventory. So, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
And it's nice that you've been able to same with us. Like I said, we have the Cigar Prop website. Push comes to shove, I can sell stuff there. Like same with you have the VSR Cigar Fam, and then you build the website. That's why it's taken us a month. We've got like merch on there, but almost like every day we find like a glitch or something, so we're able to fix it.
Yep.
So nobody notices it, and then every day I'm on it, and then my son is on it, and it's finding a glitch, then finding an add-on. To where we can upload it in a WordPress and we can fix this problem. And
I feel like I'm not running our website well since it doesn't have glitches. I feel like if I was more advanced, it would
maybe
be more
we
glitches.
need to be more glitchy. So
no, if you
do you have like stickers or stickers of yourself or
no
hats
stickers.
or
well, we have Panda Kevin and Panda Jessica, but
that's awesome.
But yeah. So right now it's just some shirts and some stickers. That's
I don't think anybody actually would want a sticker of me and Kevin.
Yeah. So
I would. I'd put it right in the back of my fucking car and just cruise around with it.
So that's all we have.
Conversations. It's like we'd be all together,
right?
Yeah. But on that note, Carol, like I said, when you get like a WordPress site where it's built from scratch to where you're coding it, that's where all the fucking glitches come.
All right. So basically me building it right from like Wix or from GoDaddy or was it Wix?
It was Wix.
Wix. It's not being obviously built from scratch. It has a
plugin.
It has a plug and play features.
We have specific plugins, like we have to download. We probably have 40 plugins, for our security. We have I want a banner across like the top that is a different color. Like if you have to code that yourself with the 10001, or you get a plugin.
You must have the Cliff Notes version. I don't recall any of that stuff.
No.
Well, his son is doing.
Yeah.
it.
So for like,
no, I don't have the Cliff Notes. It's just
I'm like,
it's
we're not doing.
It
it.
basically says how do you want your website to be laid out, and then you just kind of plug and play and go, and it makes it easier.
Yeah. So he's starting with basically a blank canvas,
right,
and then coding all of.
But that's what he does. He understands all of that, and he's good at it. I mean,
but it allows me an infinite possibilities. I mean, there's nothing that can't be done. Like on a lot of these, which I had GoDaddy websites. Like
there are limitations
for a couple of years, and I loved it. It was perfect.
Yeah,
I couldn't change the color sometimes. I couldn't change a box size. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but they were flawless. It was just drag, drop, move around, add. And that's the way to go. And if I didn't have my son that was able to do that, that's what I would have now is just a plug and play website.
Because it is really, I mean, there are limitations, but I also have visited other, I'm by no stretch of the imagination have a web page that competes with any other online cigar companies. I mean, you go to freaking Abe's or those guys, it's a freaking completely different monster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the one thing I didn't like about a lot of those other pages, and it's just my personal pet peeve that I didn't want, is I feel like when I click on their page, it's just overwhelming. It's just too much shit being thrown on me.
I agree with you on that.
It's just too many specials, too many this, too many that. You buy that, and I'm like, you know what?
If that's the first thing that pops up, it's like I went on to Cigar Federation's website today, and it just like boom, like all this stuff in your face, and I'm like, it's too much.
So
it was way too much. And actually, what I did was I looked at mine's not advanced, but I like you go to Meyer and Dutch, right?
Yeah.
And even in our wholesale side, it's structured.
Yeah.
It's structured to cater to someone who's ordering cigars. And it keeps it organized, which I like, So I wanted to take something like that and then take like some of the things that I've learned from other websites and combine them and keep it still colorful, still, eye-catching, but not overwhelming to where someone will look and be like, I don't know if I fucking ordered 10 cigars or if I ordered 10 fucking cars. And sometimes some of those sites can be like that.
Yeah. So someone had commented on the website in one of the groups I put it in, and he goes, "You absolutely nailed the 3-click rule." And I go, I didn't understand what that was. So he told me, and then I Googled it and looked it up, and that's the goal of any website. When someone goes to your website and they're looking for a product, they shouldn't have to click more than 3 times, and it's in your cart and you're checking it out. Find it, hit your menu, click it for the t-shirt, click the t-shirt, click checkout, and you're done. Not all of this other, just garbage that's out there. And everybody knows, like on the show, like on my reviews, I'll blast you if you have a crap website. It's 2021. Like you got, like I said, Wix, GoDaddy, all of the Shopify, they have all of these websites that are just beautiful, plug and play. And if you still have a garbage website, there's something wrong.
There is so much out there to make people be successful on their websites.
Yeah,
it is. And I mean, we had Jennifer's niece create the website originally, and then she taught me, and then I was like, okay. So then during COVID, when I was furloughed, I just revamped everything. And it looks so much better. And I cut out so much crap because it was like it was just too much information.
But I think as like we change as a society, like people, like when things are like certain things start like becoming trendy or cool and all that stuff, like a lot of those manufacturers have to stay on top of that. So I get why some of their stuff changes so much. But for someone who's just strictly like you or us or anything, like you want to keep it streamlined. You want it to be really user friendly. It doesn't have to be competitive with those bigger.
But even if we got super
companies.
big, I wouldn't want it to be more complicated than it is. And I realize I'm sure that once you get to, like I said, use Abe for example, you're doing more than selling cigars because you're getting a lot of crap from people, and there's lots of deals and specials. So and you're like, now you got to try and give everybody their fair share of front page space. It gets just too much. But we with what we've been doing with keeping it pretty simple, and I could grow, but I think if we ever got to that point, we'd have to have somebody do it. But I was able to build the Stogie Road Cigars website on my own from what I learned from her niece. And I realized it was a lot simpler than what I thought it was. It literally had taken me to have free time, being furloughed, spending like several hours, and then once you're doing it, you're like, okay, now it's like riding a bike.
It's I've gone on the like the backside of my website to see what. Almost like the Matrix. So I can look at my website in my dashboard, and then I can add items, and then I can click another button and I can see what the Matrix sees. And every now and then I do that and I go, how the fuck did he design this? I go, what is this? It's just, oh my God, it's nuts. But kudos for you for learning. I can't. I don't
know shit about the Matrix. All I know is
I can't even add a box. I don't know how to add a box. So what he does is he creates enough like templates that you don't see, and then like I said, basically I just duplicate everything he does. There's always a button that says, "Would you like to duplicate this?" Yes, I would, because he got it down perfect. Just copy it, and then I rename it, and then put in a
even
different
adding
picture.
A box. I do the same thing because it's like, what is this an advertisement? Yes, I'm just gonna hit click, copy, or click duplicate. And then just go, okay, I'm just gonna change the fucking logo. Then I'll change the link that it goes to, that is associated with. Do I want it to pop up in a separate tab, or do I want it to pop up within the website? No, I always want it to pop up in a separate tab, because sometimes if it doesn't do that, you get confused. I want people to come back to the website or have access to the website.
That was one thing Kevin taught me. He goes, always hit that button that says open in a new tab. And then the one thing that he taught me, and I haven't been doing it enough, and I really should, I need to go back, especially with Trash Panda, is so a lot of people don't realize. So when you save a photo on your computer, and Jen, this would be for you as well. So when you right click on a photo on your computer and you hit the properties, like you can describe that photo for Google. like when you hit properties and you hit and you go across and you hit about the photo,
Yeah.
there's so much information that you can put in there. You can actually put tags in for
Really?
that photo.
Really?
So then you hit save. So when you upload that photo on your website, there's all this metadata within that photo, and Google knows everything about that.
So you can
photo.
hashtag a photo.
Yeah.
So when people will Google cigar prop, but if you want to, that would pop up.
Yeah. So I can put different hash, and you're not using hashtags. You're just using words separated by a comma.
Oh, but
and then so right click on any photo, go to the properties and the about, and then you'll see all this information that you're allowed to put in there, and then you save it, and then when you put that on your website, now your search engines, that photo has all of this data inside this photo that they can use.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was I've told that to a few people, but Kevin taught me that, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize all the information you're allowed to put on a photo.
I knew you could edit the description, and do whatever, but I didn't realize that it would, once you uploaded it, it would freaking kind of make that connection with people searching.
Yeah, you can timestamp it. You can put in your name as in you took it. So then
Interesting.
I think that's how one guy that's a cigar reviewer online that has hundreds of lawsuits. That's how he makes a lot of his money is by uploading that metadata so he can search the web and find out if people are using his photos illegally.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because now he puts in that certain amount of info, and then he can search the web, and he makes quite a bit of money suing people.
So you can just put in some wacky name in there, and if you search it and see it popping up,
I guess something like that.
I'll try that.
But yeah, so I need to start doing that more on the Trash Panda website. And and it's not only to obviously to make sure your photo has your name on it, but so Google can find it. It's Stogie Road, Sweetgrass Gringo, Barber Pole Cigar. It's all of this, and that photo will come up when you do an image search.
Interesting. See that, man? Learn all sorts of good stuff.
Yep. Well, 3 weeks from now, we'll all be in Tampa.
I know.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's not far off at all.
There's going to be quite a few folks at Tampa.
Yeah.
Chris said he was coming down.
Chris said he's coming to Tampa. Yep. I know Joe Genovese will be there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Joe will have a booth.
He'll have a booth.
He does with Ash Quarterly.
Okay. Yeah. I know Amendola said he's coming down.
Yeah, Jason and Rebecca Falkenberger will be there.
They're getting a booth with Joe Genovese from White Bear Clothing.
Okay, well, because I know I saw on a show that I was on or something. Jeffrey said he was going to be down. So are the Monacos coming down?
I don't know if Chris is. I got to reach out to him. I know Jeff and I were texting the other day. We keep in contact regularly, and he said that he's going to be down. He gave me the dates that he's coming down. It's going to be the same. Around approximately the same time.
Now, do they have a booth, or they're just coming down?
He's just coming down.
Okay.
He's coming down, doing what we're doing,
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that we can get a tour of a factory, and
we can
do a live show down there, do something, We'll be able to do something, have some fun.
Because we'll be able to leave. I took Friday off, so we'll be able to leave earlier than expected.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
We can get down in a normal time.
Yeah.
I prefer around dinner time.
Yeah,
I'll get there early. You know me. I'll wake up. When I wake up, it's like I gotta go.
Joe's going to school. We have to make sure the animals are all set.
He's fine.
Who's hanging out with Joe for the couple days?
He's alone. Lonely Joe.
No one. He's gonna be on his own. First time.
He's gonna be on his own with 5 shotguns in each room.
Yeah.
Cameras everywhere.
You think he's gonna be okay?
Sure.
I meant emotionally.
He's not even gonna know you guys are gone.
Emotionally, he's counting the days.
Yeah, you guys are gonna
until you're that kid whose parents are finally gone for the first time, and it's like, all right, one day. Wow. Then you go into that other day and you start turning all the lights on. You hear every noise.
Oh, he'll have every light on in the house.
Oh, yeah,
that's because that's what he normally does.
No doubt. He'll have every. He's a chicken shit like Jen.
That's what I'm saying.
We have family all around here, so he won't be alone.
Yeah, he'll have family stopping by and checking.
But he's going to be responsible for taking care of the dog and the cat.
Oh, great! He's gonna
with
throw
Poopy
up
getting up
before he
and
gets that cat food fed.
Yeah, exactly.
I
With Cooper getting
fully
old
expect
and-
somewhere around Saturday night getting the text of, "Hey, how do you use the carpet shampooer?"
Yeah. Hey, I'm doing a class project on carpet shampooers,
Yep.
and
I'm gonna have.
I've never used one. I don't need one. I'm just wondering how
The
one would be
mechanics of
used if someone needed one.
He'll text me that and be like, "Carrie, how do you?" I'll be like, "Joe, why the hell would you text
No,
me
you know
that?"
what he's gonna do? He'll text your sister and be like, "Aunt Sis, can you help me?" And then she'll come over here and
Yeah, he
take care
knows
of all
Aunt
of it,
Sis.
and then they won't tell us.
Aunt Sis is like,
She's in cahoots.
Aunt Sis.
Yeah.
Aunt Sis. If you want to bury a body, that's who you call.
Yeah,
That's the type of aunt I am.
She like, no joke. If you
I
want to
would
bury a body,
do
if I
any
called
of
her right
that
now,
stuff.
like, sis, listen.
I could see her coming over and cleaning the house
If
on
Jen,
Sunday
if Jen,
before
if,
we get back on
if
Monday.
Jen called her and said, "Sis, we got to get rid of a body," she'd be like, "Okay," and she would never mention it to me
Nope.
ever,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And if I found out, if I go, "Sis, why didn't you tell me?" I thought you knew. Well, I just thought. Hey.
I told you. You just forgot. I
No,
told
she was-
you. Yeah.
she tries that with me, but I'm a little too slick for that one. But she definitely, if you want to,
That's why my it's funny with my sister's kids stuff, because like I am that aunt, and like she knows it too, so she's probably very happy we don't live very close to each other. Because I'd be like, because Kevin was gonna let him piss off the side of
Oh yeah. We were
friggin'
at
wall.
Universal waiting in line for a roller coaster, and it was the line went out like over the water, and then it had like a handrail, and he's on the handrail, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey, can I pee off this?" And I go, "Yeah, man, have at it." And then his dad is right there. He's like, "Dominic, no, you can't do that." And
and he's like, just go to Kevin. Kevin will say yes, Daddy.
Yeah. We're in line, and
Kevin's like,
and I
whatever.
forget what the ride was, and it was the Spider-Man, because it had like the fake loading docks on the back, and it had said on one garage door loading, and on the other word it said dock. And we're walking by, and he looks up to me and he goes, "That says dock. That used to say cock." and I was like, right on.
He's 7,
yeah,
right? He's the one who gave Kevin the throw up.
The throw up jelly
bean right before the ride started.
But yeah, I'm like, now I know. Right on. They covered that well.
So now Kevin and I always say, you know what that used to say.
Yeah.
Like that's what we say all the time now. You know what that
That's
used
hilarious.
to say.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's naughty. He should have been my kid. Graham should have been my sister's kid, and Dominic should have been mine. He is
funny.
He is a lot.
Yeah, Joe is counting it down, and I will have lists mile long of what needs to be completed morning, noon, and night. Especially with taking care of the animals in the house.
And Jen has officially started. Her blood pressure increased exponentially yesterday.
Yeah.
Because Joseph had always expressed that he wants to try out for football. And he's never played football before.
I gave him a copy of our health insurance card for his wallet.
So yesterday we went out, we bought a football. And then today he and I went out throwing the football. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And we're throwing football. And of course, fucking elbow. God damn, I'm so out of shape. It was horrible. I mean, I swear to God. And then we went out and I was driving with them and we stopped in to play it against sports. They had a pair of shoulder pads for $25. So I told him, I'm going to teach you, about patterns. I'm going to teach you about catching. I'll buy you some shoulder pads and a helmet. And then I'm going to light you up because I want you to know what it feels like to get hit. Yeah. And he's just like, he's going to break, he's going to break bones.
With this at all.
So what made him decide he wanted to do this?
A girl.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a combination of friends.
He's getting into sports. I think he
wants to try different things.
He's like basketball, football, and stuff. And
but he's a sophomore.
Yeah,
correct.
But
he can do like intramurals or flag or get something to kind of acclimate himself, not go right.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying because I did sports at a young age.
Step process.
Yeah. It's because usually they start young.
Because cross country, I'm good with.
Yeah, because my cousin, his two sons. Will this be my cousin? His sons.
Those are your second cousins. If he's your first cousin, his kids are your second.
Okay, so his two. He's got twin boys, and they're in Pee Wee football. I don't think the kids are, but 10 or
They
11.
look about 10 or 12.
10 or 12.
Yeah.
They just won the national championship, and
Nice.
so they played out in SoFi Stadium out in California.
I never played football until I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, really? Oh, you didn't start
like-
off in Pee Wee.
Like
Okay.
I was
my
not
bro-
allowed to.
My brother didn't do Pee Wee either. He started football in high school
Football's
as well.
so
My
dangerous.
dad,
I
my
hate
dad
it.
would not allow us. My brother and myself would not allow us to play Pee Wee football. He felt, first of all, he said all the coaches in our area were jackasses, and he felt that for kids playing football, he didn't want us, it being, getting hit at that young age.
His dad was Red Foreman.
Yeah.
Red Foreman, jackass.
Exactly.
He was.
Yeah,
Jackasses.
To this day, if you said to him, hey, Mr. Horny, why don't you let Kerry and Tony play football when Pee Wee? He'd be like, well, the coaches were jackasses. He's like, and then he'd go into a long rant on everything else, how they wear their freaking Pee Wee League football national championship jackets and drink beer, and then it gets, this conversation spirals horribly.
Right.
But my freshman year in high school was the first year I ever played football, and I played 4 years of high school. I played 4 years of college. But the difference was, and I was telling Jen this, obviously, we didn't have all the electronics and shit, but we played tackle football in the backyard. I played football with my brother. I ran patterns for my brother. My brother, threw football to me, growing up. We played kneesy football in the house, with my dad and my brother. So football, there was a lot of familiarity with football. So when I went out my freshman year, it was really just taking kind of all the other crap and just making it more organized.
Yeah.
Hitting for the first time is definitely an eye opener. But other than that, it was just that familiarity with it. And it's the same with a lot, like, I never played baseball in my life. I could throw a ball pretty well. I could feel the ball pretty well. I could hit a ball if it's a fastball just thrown right at me. I could probably make contact and do well. But my brother was the baseball guy. I know shit about baseball. But I can know enough to not look like a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
But I played basketball, soccer, and I played lacrosse in college, and I played football. I never played lacrosse before in my life till college.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Like, I would have thought maybe he would be interested in lacrosse or soccer, or even track possibly.
He talked about soccer last year just because his friends were playing it,
Mhm.
but then he went into cross country, and then he did track in the spring.
Oh,
And
okay.
he really has the build for running too. He wanted to do wrestling this year. He wanted to try out, but he was not going to do that unless he was vaccinated. There's no way with that amount of direct contact and bodily fluid swapping, you're going to get.
And
You're
not
gonna
not to mention all the the ringworm that goes around on the
So,
on the mats and
he
stuff.
understood that early summer and
Why are
said,
they eating raw pork?
No, listen, my brother and his wrestling people, that's all they ever got. It was
I had
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
I can
cauliflower
It
ear.
yeah, my brother
Yeah.
has his ears are damaged so bad. I used to take him to the Medi Center and they'd have to slice it just to let it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son did track for 3 years. So,
But then, he didn't decide to get vaccinated until September. So it was a little too late. And with getting a job, his classwork, because of his honors classes, you really kind of need to see what you can achieve and succeed at it and not throw all the shit on your plate. Like, I want him to try things out, but priority is school and keeping your grades up. And then,
The priority is freaking learn the sport and catching it, and then learn that you're going to get hit really fucking hard.
well, football,
Because
the
that's-
injury status right now, I'm not.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
the
think about
the priority is getting laid.
well,
It is actually
you're not
football.
going to get laid.
And
if
on that
you're-
note, I have to go pick him up from work.
He'll get
Can't-
laid. I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Yeah.
No, it's like it's the contact of it, really. Can you go out the front door, Jen? All right. It's the contact of it. It really is, because he didn't grow up, like we did, where, there's no rough and tumbling in the house freaking. But I mean, you know, growing up with him, you know, fighting leukemia was definitely.
of course.
But
Yeah,
but
of course.
even that aside, it wasn't like, you know, the kids were out, you know, all day long, like during the summertime, just freaking playing whatever, you know, hitting each other and tackling each other and knocking each other down.
I have to say this too, though, like her being a single mom too of a boy. Like I know for me with Graham, it was hard too for me to trust because like I always had in the back of my mind, like what happens if somebody did something to my kid that I trusted, you know? That's why like the Boy Scouts, like I was always like really weary about him going in the Boy Scouts. Like I remember he did like T-ball and like the one coach was like, oh, I'll keep him and take, you know, pick him up and take him home. I'm like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Like I'm going to get my kid. So like, as like, I was just always like uber, like possessive, but I always,
I understand that part of it.
Pushed him. So as like a single mom, it's also hard too, because then you're like, where do you find the time? Like,
but she hasn't been a single mom in 10 years.
I'm talking about when he was small to get him involved.
When he was small, he was sick.
At what age did he get sick?
6.
6.
Five?
Okay. I thought it was a little bit later.
No, 5.
I thought it was at 5.
But he wasn't sick at 4. He could have been playing at 4.
I didn't say that. I thought he was older than that.
What happened? Well, I met Jennifer. We start talking.
She's not here.
No, she'd probably be fine with that.
We start chatting about 3 months after his diagnosis, and we started dating about 6 months after his diagnosis, and he was treated for 3.5 years.
Okay.
And then you know, and then
I think that's what got me confused was because he looked so much bigger, you know.
Yeah,
like, but he was young, right?
It's hard to conceptualize that too, right? And think about the time frame of being treated and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but. I think there may be a level too of it, you know, feeling like, you know, there was a gap of your childhood that you couldn't do those things, even if you had the opportunity or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I take my hat off to him that he wants to try these.
No, I think that's great that he wants to try. I do too. I think that's great.
But I try and be realistic with him, like whether it's basketball, even I'm like, you know, if you want to, you just can't say, hey, I think I'm going to try out for baseball because our baseball team stinks. Or I want to, like, there is a foundation of understanding the sport itself and just the basic athleticism of that sport that you have to understand.
I have a question.
Then from there, you can freaking take it and decide whether you want to roll with it or not.
Do you guys have like a rec center or like through the church or something, like some kind of like?
Well, there's like
teams?
the YMCA and all that stuff where if he wanted to do that stuff, and here is where Jennifer and I, and she will never come back and listen to this show, thank God. This is where we differ. If he was 10 or 12 and you want to do flag football or rec league shit, yes, but he's a sophomore in high school. That ship has kind of sailed a little bit.
Okay.
So, you know, he's going to be going into his junior year playing football. You can't say, hey, why don't you try flag football and then see if you like it, and then your senior year go out. It's one of those things where he's got to kind of work on it. And I joke around with him and Jennifer about hitting, but it's like, I think the most important part, especially if you have never been exposed to it in any way, shape, or form, is and making sure he's safe, putting on a helmet, putting on shoulder pads, get a mouthpiece, and you're gonna get walloped a couple of times.
Well, are his friends playing football?
He's got a couple of friends that play football, and I
so
think
you should invite them over and have them all ram into him.
No, I want to do it. I want to have fun with him.
I don't want you to hurt him.
But you know,
you should have his own aged group.
But I was the same with Kerr growing up. I mean, you same with you. We got kicked out of the house on the weekend. So we played
on the weekends.
You know, every
day.
But I mean, the only sport. I mean, I never got into basketball, but it was wiffle ball and football. That's what we played every day.
Yeah, we played. And I was telling Jen, I said it's not like, you know, it's not like he's been playing pickup basketball, or even like we used to. You know, we used to go down. Even my brother did it too. We go down because we had a couple of different, playgrounds. You go down and you play basketball.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we played street ball all the time.
Always play street ball. I mean, always. And a big one in our neighborhood too is street hockey.
Yeah.
So
yep, street hockey was fun.
Shit, from a kid, I played street hockey. I played basketball. I played basketball in school too, as CYO. But I didn't play football. But we played football in the backyard. We played football, in different kids' yards. You played kickball. You played wiffle ball. You played every ridiculous sport imaginable.
Tag.
Or you played a sport where the person with the football, ran away from everybody, and then you tackle them.
Yeah.
And then they had to get rid of. I will not,
Yeah, we can't name we can't say the name of that.
It's called Kill the Runner. But
yeah.
I mean, but you played that, and you were just used to getting freaking walloped and kicked around and knocked around and stuff. And when you don't have a lot of that,
they don't do dodgeball anymore in school, do they?
I don't know.
Fucking dodgeball's brutal in school, man.
It was horrible, but it was also really
we
fun.
had the big parachute thing. I don't even know what that was.
But that was in kindergarten.
Yeah, I know.
What you actually remembered something?
Yeah, I know. That's all I remember is the parachute thing.
That was
Just talking about dodgeball and losing teeth, and Kevin's talking about freaking picking up a parachute and getting underneath it.
Right underneath it. The colors.
But my dad was huge into sports. I mean, growing up, he played softball. On like intramural leagues, and then as all old guys, you switch over to the church league. Once you get a little.
I was hardcore into softball. I even went to Star Maker camp where they train you to go to the Olympics and stuff. I did that for years. On my summer break, I would do softball camp.
He was played high school football. He was too big for Pee Wee football. They wouldn't let him play. And so he was a monster because in the fifth grade, my dad was 6 foot tall and weighed 200 pounds.
Wow!
In the fifth grade, so they wouldn't let him play. So he couldn't play until he got into.
I'm glad that Joe's gonna take the initiative to learn and all that stuff. Hey, nothing ventured, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth, but everybody has a plan till they get hit by a linebacker. You look at. Ohio State watching the game yesterday, and they got I don't know the guy's name. It's a big long name, but he is 6'8", 348 pounds. Yeah. This is a monster. I'm he would destroy. Joe's gonna get hit.
Listen, Kerr, it's a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Kerr's I'm doing my due diligence.
It's
to get this kid prepared.
Yeah, and even catching the ball, I was like, listen, this is nice, you and I catching the ball. I said, now you got to imagine catching the ball with fucking guys trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't sugarcoat it because I told him, I said, listen, I am going to be honest with you. When I played and I dropped back and someone crossed my path and the ball's in the air and I had the opportunity to get an interception or hit them as hard as I could, I always took the hit. Right. I could give a shit about intercepting a ball. And I mean, honestly, hitting someone and
the adrenaline
way more better because what's better. There's nothing better than hitting someone so hard it completely changes the way that they play the rest of the game.
Yeah. I remember like the when they mic up the players. And this was a couple of years ago, and one player just knocks a guy, just lays him out flat, and he gets limps of it to the sideline, and the guy that hit him was talking to his teammate, and he goes, "You see that? I finally made someone poop their pants." And the guy pooped his pants. He got hit so hard, and I'm like, I don't want to be hit that hard ever, to where I just poop.
I don't know.
Pants.
I mean, obviously, playing basketball is not the same concept of football, but also there's a level of aggression, especially when you're point guard and stuff, and then trying to block a ball.
Never played basketball with me.
Well, I'm saying I was rough. I used to get kicked out of games. I used to get put in timeout box and stuff because I was rough. There's an adrenaline. There's a way of showing that it hurts you.
I used to love when I played basketball.
A thrill to it.
I tell you what, I played all sorts. I loved playing high school basketball just because it was always packed. But there is nothing better than setting a bone-jarring pick on someone.
Oh yeah,
and then it just changed the way they completely guarded someone because I would set a pick on someone so fucking hard it would knock him. I mean, there was times I'll never forget. We played a team. I set a pick on this guy. They blew the whistle and everybody's booing. And I walked over to the ref. I go, I didn't move. And he looked at me and goes, listen, that was too violent not to call a foul.
Right.
He goes, it was clean. You didn't move, but it was too violent. And then what happens is now when that guy is covering that, our forward, and he goes to make a move, when he's covering him, he's looking over his shoulder, looking for a pick, which gives that ball handler an extra step or two to get by him and get to the basket. Because now I've completely changed the way the game is being played.
Yeah, absolutely. I think though, like for men, it's more about like that strength, that like body mass. For women, it's catty. It's like especially like nails, stuff like that. Like women are.
I don't know if you watch.
Women are brutal in basketball.
Did you see the basketball play on TikTok? And it was the two girls, and then one girl, I don't know, checks the other girl. They both go down. They both get up, and then you could hear the mom in the stands shouting, "You better hit her," to this big girl, and lays out this other girl, just roundhouse her, gives her a concussion. And
that the chick? I guess her dad used to play pro football, and actually
her mom was a professional was a professional basketball.
Yeah,
player.
there was one I saw that the guy's daughter sucker punched someone, and he actually issued an apology because it was a huge sucker punch. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, like that kind of stuff. Like, obviously, it'd be different if there was a scuffle going on and all that stuff. But like to actually just like do that because you lost.
I was never dirty.
I would never do that. But there was lots and lots of teams that we played that played dirty, and especially women with like certain if you didn't braid your hair or pull your hair back tight, and like they would pull your hair, they would take their nails. I mean, anything to just like hurt you, they would.
Yeah, well,
it's fucked up.
It's an intimidation factor, and it's actually.
Well, that never intimidated me. That just pissed me off to the point where I wanted to beat the shit out of them.
But what's funny is even when you piss someone off, you can get inside someone's head. Now you've altered the way that they play the game.
Yeah, because then you play more aggressively.
They play more aggressively. They'll make more mistakes. They're more concerned with getting back at you than they are actually playing the game.
Right.
And that was some of the things that I used to love doing. And like you said about
the psychological part.
You said about pooping your pants. As a linebacker, I'd always drop back, and if a running back didn't go out, my job was if the quarterback rolled out, I would just mirror the quarterback. And if the quarterback stepped up, then I would just, go after him. And we played Western Connecticut. I think it was like my senior year or something. And the quarterback rolled out, and I was mirroring him, and he stepped up, and I came in. Now, half the shit we did in school at that time in the 90s, it'd probably be flagged and kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
All fucking pussified now. But guy threw the ball, and I hit him, and I always made sure that I put the top of my helmet up right at their chin.
Yeah.
Right. And I hit this guy so fucking hard, he got up and like was staggering and walked to our sidelines, and our trainer looked at him, turned him around, and like pointed him in the direction of the right sidelines. and I was like, I hit a guy so hard he freaking went to the wrong.
Disoriented.
He went to the wrong sidelines. And what happened was when that guy would roll out and I rolled out and I start going towards him, balls start going differently. I play with a guy, Ken Pippin, who hops on the show every once in a while. He's a really big, supporter of the Cigars stuff. Great guy. He was 195-pound defensive end. And you're like, 195 pounds is kind of small, but the guy was strong as an ox. I've seen him drag 300. I'd seen him drag 300-pound linemen because he was that strong. And he would freaking hit quarterbacks that hard and blindside him that they get happy feet. They drop back. They take a 3-step drop.
Geez.
They would throw the ball right away because he was that fast and that strong that they freaking were trying to get rid of the ball so they wouldn't get hit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you may not get 10 sacks in a game. You may not get 3 sacks in a game or whatever it is, but you've completely changed the outcome of the game because of one freaking vicious play. And I was telling Joe that I'm like, as a receiver, people are going to hit you and they're going to try and get, they're going to hit you so hard. Yeah. And I
well, is that the position he's wanting to go?
He wants to, but then you play against guys. I played against a running back, a buddy of mine, Billy Harris. We'd practice and we'd hit and he made a move and freaking ran me over one time, and it pissed me off. So when he went to the sidelines, I speared him in the freaking ribs, and this was practice, right?
Yeah.
I speared him in the ribs, and he got up, and then we talked like afterwards. It was like, yeah, you really fucking hurt me. He goes, yeah, you really hurt me, but you know what? He popped up and he's like, give me the ball. When you can deal with someone who gets hit so freaking hard, they pop back up and they just look at you and laugh, then they're trying to do the reverse psychology on you. Like, just laid this guy out and gave him everything I had, and he popped up and he's like, hey, a nice hit, man. Thanks. Appreciate that. And he goes back to the huddle and has no problem going across the middle again, catching the ball.
Yeah, that happened to me. We had a championship basketball game, and I fell and twisted my ankle, and it was like towards almost the end of the game, and it was really close. And I just had the trainer wrap my ankle really tight, my shoe, and I came out there. It hurt so motherfucking bad, but I was like, I am not going to let them beat us.
Yep.
And we won. But I remember after that, I think it swelled so bad I chipped a bone and everything too, and I had to be off my freaking ankle for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so bad.
It's amazing. So, and even later years, I talked to our head coach, God rest his soul, but he's like, yeah, the kids nowadays, he's like, there's a difference between playing injured and hurt. He goes, guys don't even want to play hurt anymore. Being hurt and being injured are two different things.
Yeah.
Two
very different. Very different.
I mean, it would take everything to freaking get the guys I played with out of a game. I mean, you would have to be fucking like
bleeding and like unconscious.
The one guy I knew blew his ACL out. He still played the rest of the season.
Oh, God,
my dad used to say, like in high school, like they would just juice you up. You had an injury, bring out a needle, and like I said, you like that. You get painkillers. You get.
I don't know about that. Our high school was not that.
Yeah.
We didn't have that, man. I wish we would have, though. It would have helped a lot more in a couple of games I played in, but our concussion protocol back then was pretty comical because we played Catholic University, and actually the guy who owns the All Saints cigars,
Mickey Peg,
he went to Catholic University. I saw. So I gotta talk to him and find out what years he went. But we played Catholic University my sophomore year, and I hit a guy head on. And it was a concussion where, like, afterwards, I don't remember anything. But I barely remember talking to my parents. I asked them 5 times if I was supposed to come home that weekend. I said no. So he told the trainer, he's like, yeah, I think Gary might have a concussion. And the concussion protocol was, don't let him go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I remember nothing from talking to my parents after the game, which was probably like 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon. The next thing I remember is sitting on the edge of my bed at 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, I remember looking at my roommate going, dude, what's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, I was told I wasn't supposed to let you go to sleep. I was like, all right.
Why is Freddy Cougar around?
No, when you, apparently.
Oh, she heard it. Oh, damn it. She walked in at just that time.
Why are you talking shit about me?
Yeah, no.
Freddie Cougar.
Kerr said he had a concussion. He wasn't allowed to go to sleep. And I go, why would Freddie Cougar be?
So that wasn't Kerr. You're trying to blame Kerr on you being a dick.
No, I laughed. It was funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, it's because when you have a concussion, apparently, if you go to sleep, if you have any kind of brain swelling, you won't wake back up again. I don't fucking know. I don't know. That was the now.
That's what they say.
Now they put you in a hospital for like a 2-week observation and do your neurological fucking exam.
What?
And you gotta
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a concussion protocol is layered based off of your initial assessment. If like you see these guys like a quarterback, they get hit or running back. And if you see them on the sidelines doing all this shit, and they take him in the back, and they say, "Well, they're giving them a neurological like exam, and they'll give you initial exam. If you're bad, they'll take you to the hospital." So
you
mine
realize
was that bad.
Childhood is a concussion, right? Like growing up, everybody had to have had a concussion at some point. Riding your bike and falling off, like going down a hill.
Oh yeah,
like, I mean, like just street fight, like kids fighting and doing dumb shit.
Oh yeah.
So what are they talking about?
Now they've
2
had,
weeks in a hospital.
Well, in sports, though, you got to remember too, especially after the whole big post concussion syndrome, in the NFL and realizing that there was a lot of guys out there, violent fits of rage, suicide.
Well, boxers.
Yeah.
Well, boxers, it's a different story, but it's saying that, like, you know, even Junior Seau, when he killed himself, he shot himself in the chest with a note saying, "I need you to freaking examine my brain."
Yeah, for the CDH or CMH or whatever that disease.
Yeah, it's post concussion syndrome, and it's crazy, but you know, back then it was like that was our concussion protocol, was just kind of like, and then Monday you come in, you know, you still got a little bit of a headache. They give you some Tylenol. You okay? Great, okay, fine. Give you a little smelling salts, and then you were good to go.
Yeah, now they're prototyping the last couple of years the helmets with the sensors inside. You know, so they'll alert your trainer, hey, this, you know, was on a scale of, you know, you need to get this guy out of the game no matter how.
So what about
feeling.
like for hockey and stuff? Like I would assume that would be kind of on the same level.
It is. It's all the same level. The one thing that's crazy is Joe and I, we stopped and played against sports, and even when we were looking at Academy of Sports, you can buy football gear now at these places. You know, growing up, you couldn't buy any of that shit.
No.
And looking at the, you know, you can actually buy a freaking a head sleeve with extra cushions on it that goes under your helmet.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
And I looked at that, I'm like, holy shit, you know. But at the end of the day, your brain is still being jarred around inside your fucking skull.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Now on Joseph's, because it's different everywhere. Do they still have the kickoff? Because, like I said, they're getting rid of that. And I mean, Pee-wee, it's banned. They're not allowed to do
Pee-wee,
it
it's
anymore.
banned, and the NFL, they moved it up to the point where it's almost unreturnable.
Yes.
You know, I don't know what they do in high school anymore. I still think they have the kickoffs, but one of the things I laughed at tonight was we looked at lacrosse. I saw some lacrosse helmets. Now, I played lacrosse back in '92.
I'm gonna Google that while you're talking. I don't know what one looks like.
And the new lacrosse helmets are a full plastic shell with a mask, and they have all this great padding inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks cool. Yeah.
When I played, now look up a lacrosse helmet from 1992.
Oh, okay.
It literally looked like someone put a metal, you know, a metal cage.
Yeah, it does over a baseball helmet.
But what's funny is that the plastic was that thin. In the back, it had a shoestring, and that's how you tightened your helmet.
Oh my god!
All the plastic was
so
that
kind of like a wrestling gear, like that fabric, like to be able to tie it, but like as a helmet shape.
It was plastic, right? But the plastic was connected in such a way that there was a shoestring in the back.
I see it.
Shoestring.
I see it.
And we tightened the helmet, right? So
look, there it is.
I mean, why even wear a fucking helmet at this point?
That's very interesting.
That's archaic. It's archaic, Carrie.
It almost looks like those helmets from like an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Then they threw a grill over the top of it, and then they're like shoelace tied, like a straight jacket.
Like, is it tight enough? Carrie, does that fit you? No, here, let me tie it. The bow
it looks
tighter.
like it looks like your trainer would put like his foot on your back,
and
then he would just pull the shoestrings.
Like a corset.
Well, the first time I freaking hit somebody in his helmet, my helmet like spun around, and I was like, it's not like playing football. And we didn't have like these great pads they have now. Mm-hmm. You know, I just basically wore kind of like those pads under the football pad. They were really weak ass pads.
Yeah.
But
it's like a little thing of foam.
Very little.
Yeah.
I mean, and the helmets it was so ridiculous. I mean, and even hearing now what they consider a mild concussion that gets a protocol versus a medium to severe, they're like, a mild concussion is when you hear ringing in your ears and everything is bright. And I'm like, yeah, we got that every practice.
Yeah.
Every practice was like that. Every game was almost like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. So freaking in 10 years, if I can't remember who I am, you know why. But it's just amazing. But that when I look at lacrosse helmets now, I was laughing. And I mean, Joe, I swear to God, if I showed you what a lacrosse helmet looked like when I played, you would laugh your ass off. It would be equivalent to the leather helmets that they wore back in the day.
Well, it's even, when Mean Joe Green and Terry Bradshaw played, you had like the two bars, or sometimes just a single bar.
Yeah.
You know, that
I mean, obviously, as time evolves, you know, knowledge and like trial and error and all that stuff. But there's also a thing that becomes so extreme. So then what's the point of the sport at this point?
I mean, yeah,
if there's
you know,
literally...
Kevin, it's, go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm laughing at Kevin's comment because I shit you not, my brother graduated high school in 1981, and he played football. He blew his knee out his junior year, so he couldn't play. But his sophomore year, they were giving away the old helmets that now this is up until 1979, so 1980-ish, 79, 80-ish. They upgraded to the bike helmets, and I can honestly tell you this. The bike helmet I wore in college was almost, if not the same bike helmet my brother had back in 1980. Now they gave the kids in high school the old football helmets. The old football helmets had the same freaking interior that my dad's hard helmet had at work.
Yeah.
It literally was the inside of the helmet had the leather thing around the head, and then it had fucking rope, and then it had and then it had a single freaking pad on top that the rope connected to. And that literally, when you would hit somebody back in those days, your head would freaking, the only thing protecting your top of your head and the inside of that freaking shell was a pad about that thick and rope that was connecting it.
Yeah.
And I think back on that, and I'm like, that was the Mean Joe Green, the freaking Terry Bradshaw. They wore helmets like that. It was the same type of freaking interior that a hard hat has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you look like they made the rule because of O.J. Simpson was like on the line, like he'd slap you in the side of your head, and it would just be a wham in the side of the helmet.
Oh, you're thinking of what's his face? Jackie Slater. He did the head slap.
Yeah, was it Jackie Slater? I thought it was OJ.
No, Jackie Slater was a lineman.
Was the one that
head slap.
that did that. Yeah, and then and it would just rock, because it would rock your world and put your eyes into the.
Because he was a defensive lineman and he would slap the offensive lineman in the head.
Yeah,
and when you have a 6'5", 280-pound man hitting the side of the head, the one rule, Jim Brown, running back from the Browns.
Yeah.
He played lacrosse in college. He went to Syracuse. Yeah. All-American fucking lacrosse player. And there's a Jim Brown rule, and it's called trapping. You know what he would do? He would take the ball in the lacrosse stick. He would pin it against his body and just run down the field and run everybody over and then just fucking shoot the ball and score.
Oh, so you're not allowed to do that now?
No, you have to always have to keep it moving. Always cradle it. Yeah. You can't pin it against your body or it's pinning. But he would literally, back then, he would just pin it against his body and then just run down. Because one of the things what I learned playing lacrosse was when you have a football player playing lacrosse, it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
Because they're all going for the ball.
I think I'm
done. They're all going for the ball, and you're always going for the man.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to interrupt for a second. I'm going to go to the bathroom and then get the kids ready for bed.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, peace out. You and Kevin can end the show with your
all right.
Your rambling.
The two last one standing.
All right.
But yeah, that's what he would do, and play lacrosse. It was funny is you'd see these guys that were 150, 160 pounds soaking wet. You know, when the ball's on the ground, they're going for the ball with the freaking stick. And I'm like, yeah, I'm about 220. I'm going to go after you. And it was just, if you have that football mentality. So Jim Brown, I mean, he was a big dude back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, for a running back, you imagine that guy just fucking picking up the ball and running down the freaking field, just running people over, just fucking scoring.
Yeah, have you ever been to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton? That's got to be a Bullies road trip. Just because, I mean, just to see, I had a blast, and we spent like 8 hours inside there, and it was,
I can imagine,
just looking at all the cool old gear. We saw Bronco Nagurski's the largest Super Bowl ring to have ever been produced. And this thing it's like, is that a bracelet? Like, how can a human being's finger be that big? But then it was just like the helmets, and it was the cool progression of uniforms. And
absolutely. Sam Huff just died.
Sam Huff, I'm not familiar.
Sam Huff, old-time football player, one of the most like vicious guys back in the day. I think he had Alzheimer's or something. I mean, he just passed away.
Man,
that whole generation, it was just the thing that always kind of saddens me, and I think about what are the highlight reels going to be for the kids when in 20 years.
Yeah,
because the highlights for me watching it was watching Jack Lambert, watching freaking Dick Butkus, guys like that. Freaking I can't remember the guy who played for the Colts, the freaking the D-back.
Who's the famous Green Bay Packer guy?
I know who you're talking about. Oh God, the name's escaping me right now. I think it was Sam Huff, wasn't it?
No, Ray Nitschke. Ray
Nitschke. Sam Huff was a giant.
He used to come into the bar all the time. Great guy, huge guy. Wear his ring, and but just getting the old stories about him. But he said same thing. Just the players nowadays, like they don't. It's all about it's all about the paycheck now.
But it's not only that; it's the rules of the game too that's changed. I mean, God Almighty! I mean, it is all about the paycheck. Because you figure when Nitschke, Huff, and Butkus and those guys played, and even before, I mean, a lot of the professional athletes back then, they didn't make a lot of money.
No, they didn't make any money.
When you talk about the old baseball players, they would work. They would play for a team because on the off season they were guaranteed a job at the steel mill or someone like that. But what that's why the players union, they try and get some of these older guys some money because you got someone signing a fucking $20 million contract right now for 2 years, and those guys, if they were lucky, they made $20,000 and they didn't have any freaking guaranteed money after they retired. But I think about what highlight reel are they going to see in 20 years from now? The highlight reel that I grew up watching, where they're like, these were the best of the best of the best, the meanest guys who ever played the sport. I mean, the one guy, I cannot think of this guy's name. I think it was Curry. It was his last name. He was a defensive back for the Colts. And they had a fan come out in the field and pick up the ball and run around. He ran over and freaking tackled the guy.
Yeah.
And they were like, why'd you do that? And he goes, because this is my job. And I think my job's serious. I
mean, you look at the Sports Center, the top 10 every day, versus what it was, 20 years ago. Now it's just like, I mean, sometimes like the top 10, they'll have like soccer and ladies softball in the top 10. Before, when I was growing up, it was a top 10 hits of the day. Like all the top 10s were guys pooping their pants and like 10 times, and it was just, and now it's not that way.
Well, even 20, 30 years ago, I mean, even like the 80s, when you had, Mike Singletary, you had some of those guys who just were, monsters when they played the game. And now it's like, I'm pretty fair. Doesn't matter who I'm rooting for. It doesn't matter what team I'm rooting for. I'm always going to be a defensive guy.
Yeah.
So I could be sitting there watching a game, and it could be Michigan versus freaking Ohio State, and I'm a Michigan guy. And if the guy from Ohio State makes a great tackle and they call bullshit penalty, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pissed because, it's the one thing I think that's missed is that things are moving that fast. You think it's really that easy just to adjust how you're going to tackle someone,
especially with the targeting. That is just you have a split second. Well, he could have raised his head. Well, he moved 6 feet in 3 milliseconds. He didn't have time to
You
think
don't
of
have
where his
time to
helmet,
make that
where his
decision,
helmet,
man.
where his helmet was at.
You don't.
You
You
know,
don't
and-
have time to make that decision. And more importantly, not only do you not have time to make that decision, but when you do make those decisions, you're going to end up getting hurt.
Yeah,
You're going to end up fucking yourself up. Or
so you're supposed to lift your head and then hit a guy. He's not going to get hurt. You're going to break your fucking neck.
they want you to, it's like, well, you didn't get your head across. You didn't hit with your shoulder, hit with your head. Well, you know what? The quarterback juked me at the last second. I was trying to freaking tackle him, but if he juked me at the last second and my helmet hit his helmet, that's not my fault. It looked vicious. It was vicious. It was hard, but you got to also take into consideration the moves that the offensive player is making that may determine the outcome of that particular play. Plus, you see lots of guys who won't even hit a guy because they think that maybe they're, not going to, they don't need him. And then what ends up happening is they get more yardage or they'll score on the play because they didn't feel like getting hit. Just left. It's just Kevin and I just left. She had it. No, we were just wrapping things up. We were just talking football. Yeah.
Yeah, you got roughing the passer. You got running into the kicker. When a guy is running and then he's stumbling, you can tell there's no way he has control over his body because maybe somebody hit him and then he touches a kicker, like barely touches, and it's like, oh, yeah, roughing the kicker.
The roughing the passers,
it's just all that. Like, listen here, come on, it's a game. There's difference between running full force into somebody versus literally tripping. You're tumbling, and then you hit somebody.
I had a buddy of mine tell me a while ago, and it's very true. It's a violent, it's a violent sport, right? It's a violent game, and you get paid a lot of fucking money to play that violent game.
Yeah,
but it's like any other job occupation. There are hazards of the job occupation. That's why farmers lose arms, they lose hands. It's part of the job. It's part of the job. It is a hazard of that job. So if you're a quarterback and you're getting freaking paid gazillions amount of money and it's freaking unabated to the quarterback, someone has a clear line of sight to the quarterback, you know what? Are they looking to tackle the guy? Are they looking to freaking crush him? Well, it's a violent, animalistic game. The whole concept of the game was to be able to hit someone so hard, you either take them out of the game or, like I said, you change the way that they're going to play the game.
Yeah,
there's lots of dirty players. You had what's his face from the Raiders? They called him the assassin. He paralyzed Darryl Stingley, and it was a cheap fucking shot. You're going to have cheap shots, and cheap shots and dirty players need to be called out. They need to be penalized. They need to be fined. They need to be kicked off, whatever the case may be. But they've gotten to the point where fucking good, honest football hits are being flagged and penalized and being fined, and it doesn't make sense. I have not watched a pro game.
I can't remember.
It's been a couple of years since I catch the highlights on SportsCenter. Top 10, whatever it is.
I Google scores.
Yeah, and that's it. There's no reason a 50-year-old should still be a quarterback. Like I said, he should have taken enough hits in his life to have died. But yeah,
but if he wants to be, fucking have at it, man. I mean, if Tom Brady's still playing the game, he's still playing it well, then God bless him.
Well, that's because nowadays we're protecting him. Like nobody's allowed to touch him.
Oh no, it wasn't Terry Bradshaw back. Yeah. I mean, it's even I remember Jim McMahon. He had career-ending injury. He never recovered from it. Because they had competitors and they freaking were out looking for him, and some guy picked him up after he threw the ball and slammed him into the turf. In my opinion, a very dirty play, not necessary, but.
In college, Terry Bradshaw was a backup quarterback in college for I think his first 2 years.
Yeah, he's back up to Duck Dynasty guy.
Yeah, Phil Robertson. People don't know that if Phil Robertson hadn't had injured his knee, and was able to play, Terry probably never would have been Terry Bradshaw.
Well, it's that and the fact that Phil Robertson said, "I enjoyed hunting more than I enjoyed football."
Yeah.
And,
You know,
and Terry Bradshaw talks about it. He said Phil would show up to practice in camos with blood all over it because he was out freaking hunting.
Yeah.
And he loved hunting more than he loved football.
Yeah, I remember the interview. I don't know how recent it was, but someone had asked him like who got the better deal, him or Phil Robertson, and he goes, Phil did. Like Phil got the better deal in life, just doing what he's loved his entire life, and obviously Terry Bradshaw's rich. You ever see his daughters?
Yeah.
He has a reality show.
Yeah.
On,
that's right. Is
it's pretty horrible.
Have you seen it? I remember seeing a preview for that, like Terry Bradshaw,
his wife, and his daughters. I can't remember
Jen's
the name
the freaking
of
queen of reality television.
But that I haven't watched. There are ones that I kind of go towards, but
Terry, I tell the story. I remember watching it with my dad, and he was on like the Sunday panel, and like I said, he's just everybody's talking about it. Terry Bradshaw's just like, he's got his papers in front of him, and someone asked him a question. So what are your thoughts, Terry? And he picks them up and he's like straightening his papers. He's like, what? And I'm like, that's Terry Bradshaw. That's being hit for 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, the lovable redneck who's gotten freaking the shit kicked out of him for eons. I mean, and it's amazing though. It's like I said, I watch football. I don't even watch football. I'll Google this, like tonight. I'll Google and see who won, and it looked like this week a lot of the front runners were losing, lost. There's a lot of upsets, if you will. But I can't watch the sport anymore. I'll watch college football from time to time. And even when you get into the national game, they still get a little picky about shit. But pro football,
I just found out 2 weeks ago, my coach, Urban Meyer, Ohio State former coach, I didn't know he's an NFL coach for like the Titans. I'm like, well, I didn't even know. Know. That's how much I don't care about pro football anymore. And it all really for me started with the strike, and then it was the whole take a knee thing and can't sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
And then it just got too
ridiculous.
It just got too political for me. It's the same thing. Jess and I were just talking before the show about some actor. They want to kick him off the next movie, whatever. I forget. I'll have to ask her what it was, because of his political beliefs. It's like, you don't have political. Just act for me. Act for me, monkey. Yep. Just do your thing on my TV.
That's it.
That's it. Just do your acting. And that, I just want to see your movie. I don't care. Same thing with the football players. If you want to be active in your community and you want to do all that, that's great. I love it when they go back to their communities. They do all this outreach. They do good stuff. But I don't want to see that on Sunday. I just want you to play the game that I'm paying you, because by watching TV, paying my cable bill, I'm paying you to do a job.
Yep.
Just do the job.
It's funny. My dad and I had this conversation a while back, because my dad's very conservative. And I said, you know what? America is great. And Colin Kaepernick can take a knee. And I think that anybody who, in my opinion, throws out the argument that, well, people died and people fought. I said, well, people died and fought, so he could have the right to do that. It's up to the viewer whether or not they want to watch it or not, or support it or not. So he could do that all day long. The NFL can ban the Star Spangled Banner all they want. You can put your activist quotes on the back of your jerseys or not, but you can't be surprised when people will not support it and watch it, because you have to respect, whether you freaking agree with it or not, people's beliefs. And that is the hardest thing, is that everybody thinks that just because they believe in something, it's a no-brainer that everyone should follow them. And if you don't, then you're freaking anti, or you're bad, or you're this or that. It's like, no, we all have different beliefs. So you've seen a lot of the support for NFL, for NBA, the viewership drops and all this stuff. Well, being vocal and being verbal, and whether you want to call it brave or not, whether it's the NFL or another, NBA, if you're going to take up a cause, then good for you. but there is going to also come with a consequence with that. And you are going to lose viewers. You are going to lose supporters. And you have to accept that. And if you're going to take that and criticize it and make it seem like the people are not supporting you are stupid, hillbilly, redneck, narrow-minded, or whatever, then you're going to alienate the middle of the road people even more that says, well, no, they're just exercising their rights just like you're exercising their rights.
Yeah.
And it's to the point, even I was telling you earlier about the website earlier when I was commenting on a post. And you got moderators on Facebook interjecting a conversation when they don't need to fucking interject.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to come in and say, hey, this may go in this direction. Hey, you know what? Shut your fucking pie hole and let me have a conversation with someone, because we're having a good conversation. No one's calling each other names. No one's saying each other stupid. But at the end of the day, just shut the fuck up. You really don't need to interject yourself. You really don't. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
If someone wants to act the fool, let someone act the fool. That's why when I have my show and people are like, do you watch what people say and write? Yeah. Do you ban them? No. Why not? Well, if they want to be stupid, let them be stupid. If I read it and I see it, I'll address it. If they want to be confrontational, we can be confrontational. But at the end of the day, you have the right to say what you want. And if I want to, boot you, or if I want to delete it, that's my right. But my belief is I'll just let you play the fool and let you be the ignorant idiot that you are and prove it to everybody.
Yeah. That's it, and unless you're being, overly aggressive, I said, I've had, same on our show, some dumb comments, you just bypass them. Luckily we've never had that guy or that girl
right
that just keeps going like and it's like, all right, that's, that's
we've had one show where someone was being overly, but I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to give you enough rope. It didn't get to the point where it was being abusive. I think when it's becoming abusive, or it's really being unnecessarily fucking rude, yes, I agree with you 100%. Then it's like, listen, dude, time for you to go. But if you're going to run your mouth, you're going to be stupid. I'm going to let you try and defend yourself, and then you're going to lose every time because common sense will always prevail. But it's just this political correctness, whatever you want to call it, it gets a little out of hand. And at the end of the day, I think we need to have more open discussions and disagreements, because we have gotten to the point where we don't know how to really truly handle a disagreement. And then we wonder
you're
why,
right. Yeah.
And then we wonder why fucking we can't communicate with each other. Everybody wants to blame iPhones, text messaging, everything else. And at the end, I'm like, or smartphones. Sorry, Kevin, you don't use an iPhone.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, society has taken away our ability to have a disagreement.
Can't have a conversation, can't have a disagreement.
Yeah, without a doubt.
My way or the highway, and that's their mentality.
Yeah. My feelings are hurt. You should change the way you're doing everything because my feelings are hurt.
And then you watch the Chappelle special on Netflix, and he hits the nail on the head. It's like, cancel culture has gotten to the point where, you really have to watch everything you say or in fear of. And it's like, it's kind of McCarthyism. It's in fear of, we should be able to speak our minds no matter how fucking stupid we are. And at some point in time, general common sense will always overtake the stupidity. It just will.
Yeah. I firmly believe that Chappelle show, that was the catalyst of coming back of where we were 10 years ago. I really think of Netflix stepping up like, hey, we're not going to cancel this. You've got other comedians, you got other people that are supporting him. That's his right. That's his right to say what he wants. It's your right not to watch it. But there is a large group of people that would like to watch him and hear what he has to say. We're going to let him speak his mind, whether we believe in it, whether it's dumb, whether whatever, So I'm hoping that really is the catalyst that's going to turn things. And it seems like it is. a lot of comedians are coming out now and be like, hey, that's what we do. We're controversial at times, and it's
that's what humor's all about. Humor sometimes is dark, and it may not be your fucking cup of tea. Then don't watch it. I mean, that was always a thing about TV. It's like, well, that they allow the curse word. Well, then turn the channel. That was always the response when we were young. If you don't like it, turn the channel. If you don't like Howard Stern, turn the radio off. If you don't like this, turn the channel. There's a lot of options out there that will find, especially now. Christ, there are enough options right now where you can find your cup of tea and live inside your own little world. But the problem is you have too many freaking idiots that want to watch shit they don't like and complain about it, and they get their badge of honor of canceling someone or having their 15 minutes of fame of being able to run their mouth and have themselves be heard. And it just it's sad because it's really I think it's taken away really at the is that basic need is human beings to have a one-on-one conversation and to disagree with one another. And if you can't learn to have a conversation and disagree with someone and actually listen to the other person's side and learn more about their side, whether you agree with it or not, you may come away from that conversation and be like, I still believe in what I believe in, but you know what? I now understand why they believe what they believe, and I respect that. That's where respect comes into play.
Yeah.
Respect is an overused word. Lack of respect is freaking a goddamn cliche anymore. I have disagreements with people and friends, but I still respect the living hell out of them because they believe what they believe in, and they have reasons why they believe what they believe in. And I had a conversation with someone last year, and I really understood why they felt the way they did about politics, their political stance. And I left that conversation better understanding why they feel the way they do, and also changed my opinion on certain things. And I think people don't want to admit that they're wrong, and that's why people don't want to listen. So, Kevin, you may believe one thing, and I may believe another. And if we're both open-minded, we have that discussion, and if I'm like, well, damn, Kevin was right, I was wrong about something, people do not want to admit that. They can't admit they're wrong, and it's easier to find an echo chamber to keep believing the same bullshit they believe than it is to understand the person who disagrees with them and maybe learn a little bit something.
Yeah, that's what the flat earthers. That's basically what it is. Because you have that echo chamber. I have a belief, and and then you'll find other people. And that's fine. Keep believing that. You don't have to try and convince me.
I'd rather seek out people who disagree with me so I can better understand them than seek out people who listen. If I believe in something and I talk to someone who believes the same thing I believe, I know what they believe. Yeah, it's like, what's your favorite flavor? Chocolate. Perfect. Let's eat chocolate ice cream together. But if you freaking talk to someone who loves freaking strawberry, I'm going to understand why they like strawberry. It may cause me or make me try strawberry ice cream. Yeah. But everybody feels more comfortable. It's like fucking the pyramid scheme. They rope you in, you live in that little community. Think outside the box a little bit. Listen to someone who disagrees with you. And some of the shit they may say may fucking bother you, may hurt you, may even insult you a little bit because it's opposite of what you believe. But do more listening than talking, and then you may come away from something a little bit more educated than you did going into it.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Now, Jen, I want you to make a TikTok video because I saw one earlier today and I thought it was funny. And it was and I know you're not a nurse, but this was a
wow.
this is a nurse, and another nurse was, or I'm assuming a nurse was filming it, and she went around calling all the doctors by their first name to catch their reactions.
No, I won't do
it. They weren't happy.
No.
No. They weren't. It was like, hey, Ted, I'd like to talk to you about this patient. And they're like, what?
It's not my job over.
Yeah.
No way.
It was hilarious.
Listen, man, that does sound funny. I would
for
not encourage you
someone
to do
else.
it.
No, yeah.
But it does sound funny because, yeah, I mean, I think most doctors understand, that they're people, but they have worked very hard to earn that degree and to earn that title. And then there's a lot of people who do everything they can to freaking completely earn the right to not be called doctor anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time calling our doctor, Dr. Joseph Ravid, Dr. Ravid, Doc Ravid. That's what we always call him. And he's like, hey, Joseph, please call me Joseph. I'm like, you are like a really good, like a world-renowned doctor. I can't call you Joseph. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't call you that.
I've gotten to know some folks that I've become really good friends with when I was in pharmaceuticals, and I would hang out with on a regular basis. Even like Dr. Rodriguez, GTO Cigars. I won't call him Oscar.
Yeah.
Call him Dr. Rodriguez. And I had Dr. Miller, Bill Miller, just became really good friends. He's like, Kerry, it's Bill. I'm like, no, you're Dr. Miller.
Yeah, I can do that with Bill Ragone. Bill Ragone, because
different if they're a friend versus someone that
No,
you're working.
I
with.
still call him Doc.
Or what kind of doctor? Like Bill Ragone, he was a dentist. Is that really a doctor? I don't know. I'm just.
Well, what's funny is like with Bill and Sean, right? They're twin brothers. They're both doctors. Bill was a dentist, and Sean is, in
real doctor.
Poison. Well,
no.
Bill's gonna delete his fucking video. Back
I know.
But like I knew Sean in college.
Okay, you knew him before he was Dr. Ragone. Yeah,
I knew Sean when he was Meathead.
Yeah,
so that was his name.
Is he Dr. Meathead? Because that's what I would call him. I still Sean. He's still Sean to me. But if we were in company, I would still call him Dr. Ragone because I have that respect for Sean. He's I love Sean to death. And we came in together as freshmen. He was always Meathead because that was just what we called him. And then when I met Bill for the first time, we didn't know Sean had a twin brother. Yeah.
And Sean, actually, we were actually in our quarterback's dorm room, Rich Renshaw. We're all hanging out drinking, and Sean was in there drinking, and all of a sudden Bill walked in, and the girls all like screamed in terror because we're hanging out with Sean. I think a lot of us were high too. And then Bill walks in, and he looked just like Sean, they're twin brothers, and they looked the same. They both had the freaking typical 1990s, 89, Brian Bosworth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Ragones look like Bosworth. They do.
Yeah.
They looked like Bosworth back then. And they all screamed. And it was like, Meathead, you got a brother? It's a Meathead too. I'll still call Sean, but it's even the guys I got to be really good friends with. I still call Doc. I mean, my stepmom, it's her birthday. They had birthday Nani. Her brother he's a dentist. And I call him Doc, Dr. Banco. I call him Doc. What's up? I mean, it's even I was talking to Dr. Rodriguez the other night, and still I call him Doc. I mean, it's he's always hey, Kerry, man, it's Oscar. I'm like, no, Doc.
Yeah, I was just I don't know if I sent it to you guys or maybe I just sent it to Jessica, and it was like a week ago, and it was a freshman in college, walking around campus for his first time, and everybody kept calling him a different name, like hey, whatever, and he's like, what the hell are these people talking about? And he had a twin brother he didn't know about, separated at birth.
I saw that. I saw
being triplets, right?
They ended up being triplets.
That's right. Ended up being triplets. They found out there was a third. Yes.
Yeah.
And they were identical triplets to boot.
Yeah.
Which was rare.
Weird. Yeah, we went to high school with a couple of sets of twins, and one was a boy and girl twins. It always freaks people out.
What's really fucking weird as you talk about twins is I went to a small school, right? We had 900 students on our campus. That was it. And our dorms, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dorms, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, five dorms. We had it was only like a 3-block radius. It was a very small school. I think I went to school at one point. We had 5 sets of twins.
Wow.
5 sets of twins. I played football with the Naselli twins, the Bushweller twins, the Andrilli twins. Ragone was a twin, but his brother didn't go there, but he was still a twin. But we had trainers, 2 girls that were twins. So it was crazy being such a small school that we were in. We had about 5 or 6 sets of twins.
Yeah, my friend Renee, twins running her family. I mean, there's literally dozens of twins, and then every time a girl gets pregnant, that's the biggest. Oh my God, am I gonna be the one? And there are twins everywhere in her family, and it's just like it's weird, to see a family with that many sets of twins. And
well, yeah, that genetic. I think one of the Naselli brothers I went to school with has the Bushweller twins too. I forgot about those. I played football with them too. But the Naselli twins, I think one of them had twins. Gosh, I can't remember which one was. Maybe a Franny or Joe. I thought they had a set of twins, but it was crazy, and all of them that I went to school with were identical.
Yeah.
All identical twins.
Interesting.
Man.
Yeah.
All
right. We're good.
Well, on that note, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm
Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
And remember, I was waiting for Jess. I keep forgetting Jess is in here. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm a failure.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
And I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr.
And I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
And remember, bullies make good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.